Jakob sort of said this for a long time, that like indoor comps aren't representative of real climbing, and I would strongly disagree. That's what we've been doing for 20 years. We've been building up to this point forever.
If you've been climbing indoors for any amount of time, you'll have likely heard the opinion that climbing on plastic isn't real climbing.
Have a fiddle.
Sure, in recent years, the style of movement seen in the indoor climbing gym has evolved.
Why is it so physical?
Watching elite athletes somersault across the World Cup stage,
researchers started doing more parkour-style moves.
you could be forgiven for thinking that you'd never get those moves in real climbing. Though the worlds of indoor and outdoor climbing may seem vastly different, today's guest presents a robust argument that pulling on plastic is closer to the real thing than we might give it credit for, and he's fairly uniquely situated to do so.
Holy shit.
Arguably the most famous climb in the world.
We don't know exactly what was happening.
This might be a bad idea.
In spite of their total lack of big wall experience,
Really heavy.
Getting rained on.
It's an idiotic idea.
Trying to stay on something that's hardly even a hold.
Alex Waterhouse and Billy Ridal have free climbed the nose.
The idea of this is, can we show how like indoor climbing can teach interesting and like difficult rock climbing movement through route setting? Perfect. We went and climbed the nose with frankly no like rock climbing experience of that kind of technicality, and we learned all of those skills from comp climbing, route setting indoors. In terms of technical climbing movement, this is where you can learn it.
When Brit duo Alex Waterhouse and Billy Ridal set out to climb the Nose, a 3,000-foot behemoth in Yosemite last year, it was a surprise to many climbers for a couple of reasons.
You guys that think you're going to try and free the nose.
Firstly, the climb had only ever been freed by 8 climbers since it was first climbed in 1993. But perhaps the greater surprise was this. Billy and Alex were retired competition climbers, with no big wall experience and little experience on rock. Growing up on the GB team, Billy and Alex learned the craft of climbing in the plastic playgrounds of Sheffield. And as we all know, you'd never get those moves on real rock.
You wouldn't find that on rock crowd. Like they haven't got the broadest experience of rock, because there's coordination moves on rock. There's dynos, there's paddles, there's all sorts. Like, if you can imagine it, it exists on rock. Maybe they should try some harder boulders. Yeah.
The Nose on El Cap is widely regarded as one of the most iconic big wall routes in the world, the epitome of pure rock climbing. One would think, surely, that the similarities between climbing on El Cap and in the indoor gym are limited. Of course, when you factor in logistics, elements, exposure, and knowing how to construct a portaledge, there's undeniably a difference. But what if all of the technical rock climbing skills that you need to climb, let's say, El Capitan, could be taught on plastic? This workshop-style breakdown of the Nose was part of a community workshop that Alex and the Climbing Hangar in Sheffield put on to give the local community a chance to experience classic rock pitches from Yosemite in a kind of reimagined way. The Climbing Hangar events like this are a really cool value add for climbers, and one of the reasons why I love working with the Climbing Hangar. In my mind, facilitating really thoughtful, immersive climbing experiences is one of the ways that the Climbing Hangar really builds on their community focus, so a huge shout out to the Climbing Hangar for supporting community events like this one, and also for supporting this video. It's thanks to the Climbing Hangar that we could share this session with you, so if you live near a hangar and would like to redeem a half-price first climb, we have a code that you can use. We're starting our tour on a replica of Pitch 3, a tricky slab requiring precise foot placements that Alex felt captured his experience on the bottom few pitches of the Nose. The transfer from indoor climbing and comp experience to hard technical rock climbing will hopefully become clear as this video progresses, but at Station 1 we're really uncovering execution and trust, 2 elements that pushing for the top of the Nose and pushing for the top in an indoor comp boulder share in surprising amounts.
Actually, what we had to do is between the crack systems there was this faint ramp where you did this like full no hand slab walk, and it felt like a World Cup boulder. So this is what we've tried to represent here. So we've got 3 different levels. The yellow is the nice easiest one, then we go to the black, it's got some hard foot swaps, and then the pink is like real spice-tacular. So
Take it away, someone that's
I might
not
see
me,
the yellow
please.
just to get myself warmed up a little bit.
This one feels pretty like obvious to see how you would get a slab like this outdoors, but also how you would be quite familiar with seeing that kind of move indoors, I think.
Yeah.
It's quite a direct like translation of technical slab climbing. Small footholds, balancy positions.
Well, it's simple, isn't it? It's like black jug. Quite often, if you've just got one foothold and you know you can stand up on it, from pretty much any position, you can like power yourself up and end up in that final piece. Have you ever climbed with Johnny Dawes?
Yes, I have.
That's a proper Johnny Dawes thing where, did he do the grannies?
He did.
He did the
Granny's
grannies.
on the train.
Grannies on the train.
The train is coming through at about 25 miles an hour, and there's 2 grannies in there, and the one smiles at you when you're on the side of the thing and you wave, and the other one notices that the other one's noticed somebody, then they look, then they smile, and when they both smile and you smile back, that's the moment to move.
So in the granny, like when the grannies tell you it's time, you can go, and as long as you know that that final position exists, all you've got to do is reverse that back to wherever you are.
Right.
And then go up into it.
Okay.
He
You
taught
explained it slightly
I-
differently to the way he did, and I
What's
have to
his-
say I think I understand your version a bit more.
Johnny's is just a bit more chaotic.
Understanding Johnny as a... Well, I had a session with him when I was like 13 or something. Changed my life.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's great.
Are you going to go for the yellow?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the best idea. Where are we starting? Undercuts?
Double undercuts.
Double undercuts.
Nice.
Alex, can you speak a little bit to like the differences or similarities in terms of like the type of footholds that you're standing on and trusting on indoor boulders versus rock type outdoors? Are
Yeah,
they more
so-
similar than people would think, or are they more different in how you have to adapt?
So the footholds themselves are a bit different, but the feeling you have to have when you're using them is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So like, the way I think about like slab climbing is you've got a 100% commit, full pressure through the foot, because that's the only way that it's not going to slip. If you think it's going to slip and you don't weight it enough and like don't squeeze all the way through it, it will slip. So you've just got to assume that it won't, and then that'll mean that it might not.
Yeah.
Outdoors is the same. There's more variation. Generally the footholds are smaller. You're standing on like really tiny crystals, especially on granite.
Yeah.
So whereas with this, I'm generally in like a softer pair of shoes and like almost feel like smearing onto stuff.
Yeah.
Outdoors on like granite, it's a lot stiffer pair of shoes, and you're like really like pushing weight through it. Very nice.
The black
Thank
one,
you.
right?
Did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah.
Good.
That last one that you did was like just a super good like leg power. It was everything.
Yeah, I think on slabs typically I struggle to get away from the mentality of having to just like pull on my hands. So I'm like up here trying to like yard on these undercuts, and actually I just need to stand up.
Fortunately, on all the rest of the boulders, there's no handholds to pull on, so we're entirely foot focused from now on. You won't have the choice.
So the black, when I set the black, I was thinking of exactly what Alex was describing just then, which is small footholds that you have to like really think about how you're using them.
Yeah.
Right.
They're still good. They're probably still bigger because they're on volumes than most things that you were stood on the nose.
But this is going to really precisely target the foot swap. Foot swap is like, it's like one of the key building blocks of climbing, but like, I don't know how many hundreds of times I've practiced just going, and eventually you just like get the feeling of it and it's all right, but I feel like it never gets less scary. So this is 100% your weight through a pretty small foot. You're gonna have to do a proper foot swap.
Come on.
You went for the bad one.
You got to swap first. Go on. Come on.
Yeah. Love that.
Supreme. That was very cool.
Cool. Very cool.
You're like a ballerina. That was great.
I've been told that before. I am hoping, even though pink is the toughest level, I'm still hoping Alex is going to be able to flash it. And
But it's a lot of pressure in it. I don't need this sort of...
The feet are bad, and especially this section here around the big bad foothold, it's enough hopefully to like push you off balance so that you have to move quickly to this blocked crimp and then over to the last crimp.
Yeah.
Oh, let me back. I'm not that springy these days.
That was pretty good.
Actually.
Look at that.
Come on.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at my neck. Right.
good balance. Come on. This is the sequence. The drop down, hit the blocked crimp.
So I like can't weight that foot before I go for it.
Oh,
it was like there
that
for
was so good.
like 3 seconds. It's weird because you can't put any weight into that foot until you do the move. It's really bad. I feel like I'm just placing my foot there like a placeholder, and then I'm gonna do the move, and then it will be. I'm gonna be there at some point, but does it need to be now?
Oh,
Nice.
George.
Come on,
So good.
you're rinsing it.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on, George.
Yes.
Always bad, isn't it?
It's bad, but there is quite a big window where your hips will stay.
Come on.
Okay, come on.
So smooth. Come on, Alex.
Yeah, finish it.
Yes.
Lovely.
He pulls it out the bag.
Go on, go on, go on, go on.
Can you put a toe hook in next to your hand? Oh, you don't need it.
There
Nice.
it is. Yeah, you got all your tricks. You're in the scroll. I like it.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, just commit.
This is it, little.
I mean,
This is the thing with slab climbing is it's like, when I stood up on this thing, I had no idea whether my foot was actually going to stay.
Yeah.
And like, you just have to assume it's gonna, because if you act like it isn't, it won't stay. Like your body's gonna come off.
Yeah.
The reason I fell off that move is because I didn't trust that my right foot was gonna stay. And sort of what you need a lot of the time, just to be able to switch your brain off and say, okay, if this, and you might get bloody shin occasionally, and you might bang your knee, and you might like take some weird falls, but like, you have to know that you can do it, and all you have to do is express your best level of climbing ability, and that's all you can do, right?
We made it happen. We're doing it. We'll go to the top.
Which pitch is
Yeah.
next?
So this is the stove legs. This is a perfect 3-pitch long hand to fist crack like romp.
Okay.
So like each of the pitches is maybe 30 meters long, and you're just going bah, bah, bah. Slowly gets wider to like fists at the top.
We are the perfect, the quintessential representation of people that aren't super good at hand jamming.
What we do have is a quite easy intro section, a bit of a harder middle section, and honestly quite a hard top bit.
I don't see very many cracks set indoors generally.
Yeah.
It almost feels like, even though like you said earlier, everything indoors generally is like an amalgamation of rock climbing outdoors, but it's almost like crack climbing's been kept separate for outdoors. Like it's almost like people would be, it's more of a surprise to see it indoors. People just think that's just a style for outdoors. Why do you think some styles of climbing have almost been like cordoned off as outdoor styles and not indoor?
So I don't know if it's been cordoned off necessarily, but what I would say is that it's probably not very commercial. So the reason why we sometimes see it in comps is because comp boulders don't have to be for the masses. They don't have to be fun. In fact, they're not fun. They're designed to make people fall off, and cracks in comps often aren't that nice to jam in. So it doesn't really lend itself to a commercial environment. Before we try it, Hannah, I'm just going to add one more foot because I have tried this one before and I think I need... Right, okay.
You get to suffer.
Suffer.
Suffering's fun, isn't it?
And I think that crack climbing, whilst some people do really, really enjoy it, don't get me wrong, does have a big element of like grit your teeth and suffer a bit, no matter how nice the jam is. Alex, you went super high up this, right?
Yeah, I just kept champing. I was just enjoying myself, so I figured I'd go to the top. I like to have my feet in the blue. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, George.
Get that left hand deep.
I think this
Yeah,
is what I'm
nice.
less sure on.
Ah, nice,
Perfect
George.
jam.
So your foot fits this way, but it doesn't fit this way. So if you start off going sideways, go on, G, and then twist it in so your knee is in line with the crack. Just sink.
Yeah,
Nice.
come on.
Yeah, come on. Nice,
Oh my
man.
gosh!
That's so good.
Why is it so physical?
It's a lack of technique. That's
Oh yeah,
why.
that's it. Stop it.
There's a relatively storied history of Brits in Yosemite. I'm going to go out and climb really hard, and then they go and get shut down. Well, we thought having a career of comp climbing and like learning all this technical movement, sort of the sort of stuff we're trying to present here.
Yes.
We basically said, well, why don't we go and have a
Mega.
like,
Yeah.
go and figure it out. Like at the very worst case, this is like this is a like scouting mission, and we'll go and figure it out. But we said, okay, well, we could try the nose, like, and it seemed like a bit of a ridiculous challenge to start with. And then we started watching videos, and I was like, it's comp boulders on like hard granite. It's technical stuff, so it's like I don't see the reason why we wouldn't have the skills. So we like put our socks on, told people we were going to go and do it, and went out with 100% commitment. And like two comp climbers who've never climbed multi-pitch trad, can they go and free like one of the most iconic climbs in the world? In 30 years, the nose has been freed like about 10 times, and there's been plenty of people with a lot more experience than us who've gone and done it. So like, why should we have the right to like even think that we could go and do it? But we committed and we tried, and like somehow we pulled it up. I think Great Roof is the most iconic in terms of like line and position, and like when Lynn did that, she was the first person to free that pitch, and that unlocked the route to the point where it was like possible for somebody to do it and free climb it. It's also like one of the proudest lines I've ever seen in my entire life. I think the whole pitch is like 45 meters long. You do 30 meters of like slowly steepening like hand and finger crack to get you pumped, and then you have like the crux finger lock like pin scar roof traverse.
This is what I'm interested in. I feel for me, this seems like the most obvious overlap with like the pressure of competition.
Yeah.
Like that window of opportunity where you just have to perform. It's like now or never.
Now or never. I think that's the biggest overlap, and it's not something I really considered until we like went for the push.
Yeah.
It's like while we're up there figuring it out, it like just felt like rock climbing. But when you're on the wall and like trying to do something, you have limited time. You've got a certain amount of food, you've got a certain amount of daylight. There's almost always weather rolling in some regard. Like you're having to manage skin, psych, energy, and like if you mess around and you fall off something you shouldn't, or like you have extra goes, all of that is sort of draining from the tank of resources and energy and effort. Well, there's 3 levels. Level 1 is the yellow, so nice big feet, pretty good finger locks and jams. They're not really jams, they're more of like undercuts, but you can kind of tuck into the back of each of them.
Okay.
So you see that they're like directional. Some of them pull in this direction, so you almost like go in and across.
Okay.
So those are the pin scars. So pin scars are basically the cracks that are naturally in the rock. Originally, people were banging pitons into them.
Right.
And that slowly widened them out. And then just like 50 years of people trad climbing through them has slowly widened out these little pods to the point where some of them, you can just about get your fingers in a bit. Yeah, I'm going to do the easy one to like ease myself into it.
And what are the 2 grades that you give to these 2 boulder problems versus the real thing?
This is like asking for grades of comp boulders. I think the
grades.
yellow is V4 and the red is V7. There we are.
I think if there's one thing I've learned in my time doing the channel, it's never ever to trust a grade estimation of a mid-range boulder from a pro. Or a route setter for that matter.
It might be harder than V3 actually.
There is a little jam on it. Yeah.
We're starting here.
Yes. Yeah, it is complex, and it's. I mean, with a name like the Great Roof, it maybe isn't that surprising, but I found it surprisingly powerful as well. Like to be really sinking in onto the undercuts, trying to kind of like milk the feet as much as you can to get as much weight through them.
Nice, I know. I think there's also about 10 different ways of doing it, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Oh no, taking the best bit.
It's very similar to outdoor climbing in how you're almost, as you're on the route, it looks like you're feeling out the...
You can't see it because it's underneath.
Yeah.
Like...
Because that would be something a lot of people would say about indoor bouldering, is because of the coloured holds, you're never going to have the same route reading complexities as outdoors. Would you think that's fair, or am I overstating how easy comp is?
You can't...
Nice,
yeah,
Hannah.
nice, Hannah.
Strong, Hannah.
Come on.
Come into that. Nice.
All right, I've not actually done this whole thing.
Super nice, come on.
I just missed it, it's wild.
Cheeky that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, easy, come on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, okay.
So good.
Nice, Alex, come on.
That hip flexibility.
It's very impressive, that, isn't it?
And then you get to stand on the ledge to finish. Nice, George. Come on.
Come on. Yes, come on.
Come on, get it deep.
That looks so good. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice.
Come on, get his feet up. All the way.
Come on, George.
Yes. Frog it.
Come on, George. Come on.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh gosh.
Perfect.
That looks hard.
Okay, so what's the next? It's the last hard pitch after the Great
We're
Roof,
headed
right?
to the top.
We're heading to the top. Well, we're heading to the top apart from we've got the hardest pitch on the notes left to do.
Which is...
Lynn Hill earned the title of Living Legend in 1993 when she became the first person, male or female, to free climb what's known as the nose.
So I really think the technical skills that we developed through comp climbing were perfect for the nose. Like, changing corners is a World Cup comp boulder in my mind. It's like you put one volume on like this, and then you have a really hard, like squirrely, like technical fight to get up through the groove. Like that's what we've been doing for 20 years. Like we've been building up to this point forever. So changing corners was like the great unknown for us. There's only so much you can learn from watching YouTube videos of like how hard a route is going to be.
And there's not many YouTube videos either.
No, there's not. There's about 3, and we've chopped and changed them. So we've got like screen recorded on a phone, all the beta that is currently available on the internet.
It's not like
so if you're looking
doing
for
Green Traverse at Stanage or something, is it?
yeah. But like it's 80 plus sport grade.
So it's the hardest pitch.
By far the hardest bit. So I've climbed quite a lot of 80 pluses. None have ever taken me as long to link. We knew it was going to be the big one. We'd spent 7 days working it, so we'd hiked all our stuff up to the top, slept on the top of El Cap, wrapped in 4 pitches, spent the day trying it on like top rope solo, jogged all the way back out again, same again for like 7 days, and neither of us had linked the full thing when we left the ground. So when we got there, it was still very in doubt whether we were actually going to get it done.
So Hannah, you've tried
Yeah,
Lynn,
I want to know about this.
so-
you've tried Lynn's
okay,
changing
okay.
corner replica, and now you're going to try Waterhouse's
Well,
changing corners
what
replica.
I will say is that Lynn's changing corner replica looks very different. I think owing to the fact that her replica is basically just on like one flat panel.
I think Lynn's replica is probably a bit better.
Do you think?
I have no idea, I've not tried it, but I think, I would imagine so.
I mean, what I will say is when you listen to Lynn talk
Yeah.
about the moves on the nose, her like forensic analysis of that movement was so impressive to listen to that I have no doubt that if she was setting something that was trying to replicate that move, it would be very
It's
close.
interesting that you say that because that's also something that you see in comp climbing all the time. If, you know, when comp climbers have their observation, I'm sure you can speak to this, Alex, like they come out of observation, people will sometimes go and draw the boulders
The
that
whole
they've...
route from memory is like 35 moves, just like...
Right, they'll
pull it
know
out,
just from like 2 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever it is for a lead route.
Yeah.
They will in depth know exactly where every jib is, where every hold is, the position of which hold, where the rests are. Like all of those things they'll know in the same detail that Lynn knows that. We've got 3 versions of changing corners. We've got the green, which is the easiest, the black, which is the middle, and you reckon probably the closest.
I think that's got the most like representative moves.
Okay, so the most similar
lots of
to
like,
like
sideways like crack pulling, and
So we'll start on the green.
pink's got the same like fear of God associated with it as changing corners does. I'll have a go.
That one's just to simulate the fear, is it? Yeah.
So what degree, Alex, did the exposure make a difference?
So at the beginning, the exposure is absolutely horrifying, but it's amazing how quickly your body adapts to it. So like the first day we wrapped in from the top and I got down onto the Camp 6 ledge, which is like this big by this big, I'm like stood against the back like, oh my God, it's so scary. Right, I'm gonna try the pink. I've not pulled on a mono insert in a while. Oh, you bastard. It's so, you get yourself all hyped up and excited and you just...
I'm going to try the start on the back.
Right. Nice, Hannah. It's further than you can just put your foot out. You have to like...
Come on, Hannah.
Yeah, like that.
That was it. Honestly, you were like 2 inches off the hold then.
Yeah, that kind of like core intensive, doing everything in your power to stop from going.
Yeah.
How wrong can you get this placement?
What, on the...
Like if you get it
on the actual
slightly,
thing?
yeah.
Like
Does it have to
yeah,
be
it has to be
perfect?
basically perfect.
So good. Come on, Al.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
That's so hard.
Was this what I did last time? Is it?
So there's a little screw hole there you can get your left finger into. What? It's the same thing where it's like little divots.
Come on.
There are like spots on the erect that are a bit better. No, you can't use a bolt hole, that's cheating. Go on.
Whoa,
Yes, that's it! Look at that thumb pinch!
That is unacceptable.
Jesus!
I know, that was mega. So you go into the shoulder and then bump the left foot up.
Am I allowed this?
Yeah.
Not the red one then?
Onto the
Left
red,
foot on the red,
onto the red
yeah.
face. Yeah, nice. And then you can like straighten up a bit.
Match
yeah, cool.
it. So there's a ram smear in here if you want it. If you put your foot in here, like put your shoe like that.
Okay.
So you like basically smear on both sides at the same time by pushing in. That's a very useful crack climbing technique.
100%.
Come on, Hannah. Yeah, nice. Go on. Yeah. Come on, up. Yes.
Nice.
Nice. That was cool.
Perfect. Come on now.
Very good, Alex. Come on.
Come on, squeeze. Come on. Come on, big push. Comp climbers.
Yeah.
This is a replica of a really hard outdoor boulder.
Yeah.
If Toby Roberts comes in, is he going to do that?
Rinse it.
Rinse it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Super easy. And Toby, I'm looking forward to the video. So, in you go.